All right, good afternoon and welcome. My name is Taylor Kingman. I am the president of the Board of Trustees of the San Angelo Independent School District. I would like everyone who is present today, I would like to welcome everyone present today at our special meeting. We appreciate your interest in the activities of our students and the business of SAISD. All items that will be discussed at our meeting today have been posted as required by state law. Also, as you may be aware, our board meets a minimum of 2 times per month. As members of the SAISD Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from our superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, and personnel appointments, and to make policy for the district. Please keep in mind that the meeting is a meeting of the Board of Trustees held in public, not a meeting of the public. However, we do have a public comment item on our agenda that allows anyone present who wishes to speak to our board team on an item on our action agenda or on an item not on our action agenda an opportunity to do so. Please sign up and provide your name and contact information at the back of the room if you'd like to do that today. Please listen carefully and comply with the following rules so that we can move through this part of the meeting efficiently. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes. The district will provide an official timekeeper. Please respect the privacy of others and refrain from identifying students, employees, or other community members by name. Disruption of the meeting will not be tolerated at any time. Comments on any subject, whether positive or negative, must be courteous and respectful. Comments are limited to the specific topic you indicated on the form you filled out. Any speaker with a specific complaint about a district employee, decision, or operational issue should present that complaint through the appropriate mechanism, which is the district's formal grievance process. If you have a pending grievance being processed by the district, you will not be permitted to speak about the grievance during public comment. Also, please understand if you offer a public comment that the board cannot reply to you except to thank you for your comments since the matter had not been posted for discussion. I ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking, and I also ask, as I remind my fellow board members, to please turn off or silence your cell phones. Again, thank you for being here and for your support of SAISD. We do have a quorum. Mrs. Myself Flynn and Dr. Mills are on their way, but we're going to go ahead and get started due to we posted it at 12, so we're going to start at 12. So if everyone stand and listen to the Pledge of Allegiance for the United States and Texas. All right, so no one has signed up for public comment. Sorry. So we are actually going to go into executive session under Personnel Matters 551.074, and then we will be back to consider our posted agenda. Thank you. All right, thank you for sticking with us. We're back from executive session. It is 1:11, and we took no action and made no votes. At this point, we're going to move forward with some presentations on agenda item 4, which is consider mid-year pay increases contingent on Proposition A passing.
Dr. Kingman, Dr. Moran, members of the board, thanks for allowing us the opportunity to talk a little bit about the consideration for mid-year pay increases. One of the big pieces that we're talking about with the mid-year pay increases is the labor law that's coming out in 2025. That labor law is by the Department of Labor. We talked about this in August as part of the compensation plan that it was coming, and in January it will happen. And just wanted to explain that for 12-month exempt employees, and those are salaried employees, they're not hourly, they don't clock in and clock out, they're professional employees that are salaried. They're required to have a minimum pay rate at 12 months, which is $58,560, I believe. 650, I got those backwards. 58,650 for 12-month employees, and so we wanted to just discuss with that about that rate that has to be changed coming January. And I know Dr. Brandon had a few things to talk about with the pay rate and Proposition 8 as well.
Good morning. Good afternoon. As we've talked about the possibility of employee pay raises and money used from the TRE toward safety and security, one of the things that we've talked about is also making sure that the actions that we take are sustainable year after year. Within this $6 million that could be generated from the TRE, we've talked about $2 million of that is local, raised from our local taxpayers, but then the state basically rewards that as part of the golden pennies, the 3 golden pennies, by contributing $4 million. So as we look at that $6 million, we want to make sure that year after year that's sustainable, and that is what we would receive from the state through the passage of the TRE. The proposal that we would make to the Board of Trustees, for the teacher raises, you have that in front of you at a $2,500 raise for every teacher in our district, and increasing the starting pay for teachers in SAISD from $47,500 to $50,000. I think that is something that makes an impact, not only within our community, but surrounding communities as people look to move into San Angelo ISD. As you look across our other boxes, we sometimes struggle in other, our 400 and 500 job categories, whether that's paraprofessional, custodian, HVAC, electricians, plumbers. So as we look to also increase those to be competitive in the markets around town, a proposal of 4% and market adjustments so that we would be competitive in all job categories, and that all of our employees are touched by the raise considered by the Board of Trustees. As we look at that, that would be approximately $4 million across the board when you talk about over 1,800 employees in the district. And then we know we're estimating $1 to $1.2 million in safety and security for this year. So that would be $5 million of the 6. As we think about sustainability, what will insurance do next year? Not spending every bit of that $6 million. I think it's wise that we hold some amount of money so that we're able to continue to offer free health insurance, a free health insurance option to all employees. So you could think about that remaining money that could be used to that. We've checked with the TRS, our employee insurance provider. They're expecting a 10% increase each year for the next 2 years. So I know that's important to the board to offer that option to employees, and so that's an option as well, that we're able to keep some of that money and use it in that way.
Dr. Brandon, on the $1 million that would be left over, that would also be, because it's now would be in the M&O bucket as opposed to the INS bucket, we'd be able to use that for maintenance on facilities and upkeep as well, correct?
That's true. That $1 million could be also used for HVAC, different needs, facility needs across the district as well.
Dr. Brandon, we're also probably expecting a pretty steep increase in our property insurance this coming year too, aren't we?
Yes, sir. That's gone up each of the last 2 years. We've seen 2 years ago a 30% increase in property value insurance, and then I think it was approximately 14% this past year. So we would see increases there as well.
Sorry, I won't be the only one asking questions, but so as far as our teacher family, just to make sure I heard this correctly, every teacher, regardless of where they are in our box for the teacher salary, every teacher would get a $2,500 increase.
Yes, sir.
So, and then as far as our other areas, as far as when we're looking at everything else, is based on a midpoint and a 4% increase from the midpoint. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So some people, if you're manual trade, you may end up with a slightly increased, you're the whole midpoint. If you're at the low end of that, you're going to go a little bit higher, et cetera. Can you explain that a little bit to me?
Yes, so part of doing a little a market adjustment is moving the boxes up a little bit. And if they're affected by the market adjustment, then they would not get the 4% if their market adjustment is higher than the 4%. If they do not get so basically an employee, based on the market adjustment, they're going to get the higher of the 4% or their market adjustment, whichever, how that works.
Jason, in addition to that, we're making some adjustments to comply with the 2025 labor standards. Is that
Correct. Those market adjustments include the labor law adjustments.
Other questions for? And so and we have, in the teacher family, we have roughly 1,000 employees in the and I'm not going to hold you to the exact number, but roughly 1,000 employees in the teacher family, and a little around there.
Correct. The teacher family includes teachers, librarians, registered nurses, athletic trainers, behavioral support coordinators. The list goes on and on. So there's close to 1,000 people in that family.
Okay. Other questions?
Dr. Kim, I know we've been working on this for a while, and kind of including it with the attempted passage of the voter-approved tax rate increase. So moving forward, trying to make sure that we put our money where our mouth we said we were going to put it, I'd make the motion to approve the adjusted 2024-2025 compensation plan to include a market adjustment for all job families as presented, which includes increasing the minimum starting teacher pay to $50,000, a $2,500 pay increase for each employee in the teacher job family, and a 4% general pay increase adjustment at pay grade midpoint for all employees in the job families not affected by the market adjustment. Noting that all pay increases are made retroactive to the beginning of 2024-2025 school year, and all compensation plan adjustments will be contingent upon the passage of the voter-approved tax rate election held on November 5th, 2024.
I'll second.
So I have a motion from Mr. Dindal and a second from Mrs. Mizell Flint. Any further board comment or questions?
Again, Dr. Kingman, through the past few years, we have struggled to keep pace with pay raises, and especially the way the state funds schools. We have been barely able to keep up with small increments in pay increases for not only our teachers, but everybody in SAISD. So this is one chance where we've got this extra money coming from the voter-approved tax rate proposal that would help us move the needle as far as everyone from teachers in the classroom to the guys cutting the grass out there to the janitors cleaning the rooms to, again, we've got secretaries in schools, we have maintenance guys that work around, and we have administrators that, principals, vice principals, all those folks too, have been working hard for years for a minimal increase, and so this is our one chance maybe with these extra funds, also in respect to the public, that these funds would become sustainable as we move them into our budget process for every year. So I think it's a good move for the district.
One thing I would just add to that quickly is that I think it is important that the public know, so by doing this today, well, yeah, exactly, we're putting our money where our mouth is. This is actually putting out there, highlighting what we will actually do with this money come November 5th when Prop A passes. So.
I was just going to add to this also piggybacks on the audit that we had about, that we did before all this, and there were several categories that were below average for the state, and this helps rectify that and puts these positions in a much more competitive position moving forward, and get, like y'all were saying, putting putting the money in the people that are actually doing the day-to-day work, the teachers, the custodians, the counselors, the people that really help grow these kids. And so I'm excited to be able to, if, of course, assuming it gets approved and passed, that we're able to do that. So thank y'all for y'all's work on this.
Dr. Kingman, I'm sorry, one added comment. Being that we haven't been able to do this in the past is a big deal for this board, because we can now reward our employees, and then beyond that, we can remain sustainable and continue to push forward with a balanced budget that most districts in the state are not able to do.
Good point. Like, as we've said many times, like 70% of the districts in the state are adopting deficit budgets, and the ability to do this with a balanced budget is wonderful. Any other board comments or questions?
Yeah, just one thing that I think is important to note, that that $6 million that we would receive from this Proposition A would make these salary increases retroactive to the beginning of the year. And so the teachers would see that salary increase for August, September, October, November in their December checks as well. And so I think that that's important for our community to know. And then the other thing is that I've seen a lot of comments on social media and just questions in the community about, what we're going to do with the $6 million. And I know it's been kind of said, but I hope that now that the community will know what we're doing with it, that they'll feel more comfortable in supporting Proposition A.
All right. Any other board comment or questions?
Mr. President, Board, I think it's important for me to address this board action, which, contingent on Proposition A passing, reflects the commitment of the board to recruit and retain quality teachers and provide robust safety and security. But I want to publicly state and exclude myself from the actions that the board is considering today. If Proposition A were to pass, and if the board approves pay increases for the staff, I'm going to recuse myself from that and step back. I want it to be about our staff and our organization. I appreciate the board's support for me personally and for this organization, but I think it's appropriate that the spirit of what's happening today applies to those employees in the organization, and you handle my evaluation and salary separate and apart from this action.
All right. Well, thank you. And any other board comment or questions? All right. Well, with that, I have a motion from Mr. Dindal and a second from Mrs. Mizell Flint. All in favor of the motion as presented by Mr. Dindal, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say the same. Motion passes 7-0. With that, we have no other topics on our agenda this afternoon, so we will be adjourned. Thank you all for being here.